Hey, 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 welcome to Games Vitae. My name is Mod J. Today we are going over my gold tier list of 2023. These are the games that are my top games, the ones we played the most, the ones we enjoyed the most, the ones I like the most out of my collection. This is not meant to be an all-inclusive list of all games that ever existed that are out there that are on the Board Game Geek hotness list. This is about my collection, what I've played, which means you might see some games on my Calyx here that aren't on my list. Why? Because I haven't played them. I'm not going to rate games that I haven't played. So, before we get started, please like, subscribe, share, comment. That helps us get into the YouTube algorithm and helps us get more noticed. And that's what we want. We want to be talking about games that your family can play that you might enjoy. So, let's get started. It just so happens that my gold tier list is narrowed down to 10 games. So you can call this my top 10 games of 2023, whatever you want. Let's just get to it. Okay, first one is, this is a game that when I first saw it, I saw it on crowdfunding and I passed on it. And it just kept nagging at my brain. It's like, boy, I kind of wish I would have gotten that. And I thought of it mostly because I had a younger daughter, not too young, but a younger daughter that I thought might enjoy it. And it just kept nagging at me. And there was like a contest to win it over one of the holidays. So I put my name in and I won. So thank you to Kids Table Board Gaming for this, because it has become a family favorite, and that is Creature Comforts. Creature Comforts is a worker placement, dice placement game in which you're kind of fulfilling contracts in a sense. You're building things, so you need to collect different resources. So it's resource management as well, and the theme and the art is just endearing. I've played it with people in their 80s. I've played it with people in their young teens. It's just a great game. It's a great family game, and you can play a shorter version of it. You can play a longer version of it. It can stay a little bit long in the tooth on this game, on how long it plays on the table, but overall, it didn't stop it from getting to the table multiple times this year. So, Creature Comforts is my number 10 game of 2023. Next is another game that I also passed on, and it just kept nagging at me and nagging at me and nagging at me, because I thought to myself, why didn't I get that game? It looks like a lot of fun. And anyway, I got it for Christmas. Not this year, but last year? I can't remember. Anyway, I've played it a bunch, and it is Caper Europe. Caper Europe is... It's hand management, card drafting, and in a sense worker placement, because your hand, sometimes the hand that you're dealing with is characters that give you certain abilities and certain objectives. So it's not actual like meeples being placed, it's cards where those cards are thieves at these different locations, and the locations can vary as well. Locations give you different objectives, the thieves give you different objectives, and you are trying to collect sets of tokens that you can steal from the various locations. You are trying to collect sets of equipment that will fulfill various criteria on the thieves or on the locations, and that gives you points. And you're dealing with this back and forth of being able to buy these different cards. Not the thieves per se, but the equipment, because there are 10 coins in the game. That's it. So if you have so many coins, like say you have 5 coins, the most that is available right now is 5. And I think there's I can't remember because it's been a while since this has come up, but there's a situation that where if there aren't enough coins to draw from the main resource, it might be that you take, I can't, like I said, I can't remember, you take it from your opponent. It's a give and take that is really strong. I'd have to review that part. I wasn't overly impressed by the rule book. The rule book had quite a few errors in it, editing wise, and me being an editor, it just kind of it made me shake my head a few times. But the game itself is a real delight. It's a real treasure. It's a 2-player game. I should have mentioned on Creature Comforts that plays up to 5, but this is a 2-player game only, and it's just a lot of fun, easy to get to the table, quick to play, and it's got a lot of replayability because you play in different cities as well. So depending on what city you are in, you have varying difficulty, you have varying rewards, varying things. It's got a ton of replayability. Caper Europe, number 9 game of 2023. Number 8 is a game that it's just something that it gets to the table extraordinarily easy. And it's easy to learn, easy to teach, but every time we play it, everybody's like, they're just so focused on what they're trying to get done and working out the best way to get it going, and that is Splendor. Splendor, I've got the expansion to it, expansions. It's actually a 4-pack of expansions that you use individually. You don't use them together. But this game hits the table without them. It's a great game of set collection, engine building. You draft these gem tokens, and with those tokens you can buy cards. And some of these cards act as permanent bonuses for the gems. So in other words, you won't have to draft a ruby if you have a ruby card, or at least you won't have to draft as many of them. And some of these cards have points on them, and the goal is to get to 15 points. Sometimes you can get enough of these sets of different gems that you can automatically qualify to have a noble visit you, and that gives you points as well. And it's an addicting game. It's something that it just hasn't gotten old with me. I've played it a bunch, and I just keep playing it. It's something that is a quick go-to if you want to get in a quick game. And it plays up to 4 people, so it doesn't necessarily accommodate my entire family, but it accommodates enough of them that we get it played. So Splendor, some people have said, oh, well, I've moved on from that. I haven't. It's a great game that I'm just going to keep playing. So great game for a family. It's something that even younger players can play. So Splendor at number 8. Number 7, what was it? Here we go. Number 7 is something that I kind of cheated onto the list. And I could have kept cheating games onto the list because I've played more games since I made this list. But I have to draw the line somewhere. This game was supposed to come over the Christmas holidays and didn't. The fulfillment center just didn't get them out. And it is Canvas. Canvas is a delight. It is a great game. We have more fun talking about the paintings we're making and showing them off to each other, and even making up some house rules that just kind of add on, just like bragging rights type rules. That it's fun to get to the table. It's my oldest daughter's favorite game, and that's saying something because it was another game before that. She liked In Too Deep, and this has become her favorite game, and I can see why. I've got the entire collection. We've only opened the base game so far, and it is just great. So don't think you need to get the whole game to enjoy, the whole collection to enjoy this game. This game is good, just base game. Once I try the other ones, I'll let you know what I think. But it's a game in which you have these transparent cards that overlap, and you put them together to satisfy various scoring conditions that are universal for everybody in the game. And you get these ribbons based off of those scoring conditions. And there's, I think, four scoring conditions that give you different objectives for combinations on the card. There's these little swatches at the bottom. Let me see here. These little swatches at the bottom that kind of determine what you're dealing with, it both in color and in symbol. So depending on what the scoring conditions are, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to satisfy those conditions and get ribbons, and those ribbons add up to points, and it's great. And you can play it for the points, or guess what? You can play it just to make pretty art. And they're really abstract, they're funny, and you can find these out in left field explanations of what the art means, and it's just fun. So I think this plays up to 4, maybe not. I can't remember how many it plays. There we go. 5. It plays up to 5. So this can accommodate a little bit larger group. And at 5, you may have less choices, less ability to get the cards that you want, but it's still fun. So I highly recommend Canvas. And that is my number 7. Yeah, 7. No. Yeah, 7. Number 7 of 2023. Okay. Number 6 also might be a little bit of a cheat. We played kind of a training mode on this, and it was on my list to play over the holidays, but for some reason my family just doesn't want to play it. I don't know why. But we played the training mode. I thought it was fun enough to investigate more thoroughly. I went and played the solo mode and loved it. It is a great game. You learn a lot on strategy, on things that you should try and do differently from time to time. And the solo mode uses an app so that it automatically uses here I'm talking about, I haven't told you about the game. Mind Management. Mind Management is a hidden movement game where you are either the person hiding, the recruiter, and there are various endgame conditions that you can get by getting recruits and things like that, and you're going against the rogue agents, and the rogue agents are trying to capture the recruiter, and they're going about this map, and there are different details on each square of the map that are in common. So, some squares have a bus, some squares have a pool, and you can ask if the recruiter has been to a spot where the pool, where there's a pool, and it'll say yes or no, and they can put if not, you can make these little notes on these tokens to say, all right, at this point they haven't been here, or at these kind of places. And anyway, it's a lot of fun, and it's got a system called the shift system, such that if one side loses, it opens up a card or a pack that enables you to have a more competitive edge in the next game. So it's a great game. I passed on this one. A lot of these that I've been talking about, I passed on originally. I passed on Canvas. I didn't say that, but I had. I passed on Caper Europe. I passed on Creature Comforts. I passed on Mind Management on the first campaign, and I didn't pass on it on the second campaign, and I'm glad. I wasn't really turned on by the art. It's just not really my style. But the game itself is so fun. It's a logical deduction puzzle of cat and mouse that is just a great time to play. So it can play up to 5 players, and there's a lot of interaction between the players. So in my opinion, it'd be a great family game. I just wish my family would play it with me. Mind Management at number 6. Number 5 is a game that it was the second I got it open and started playing it, it just became an automatic family hit. And that is It's a Beast. And this isn't even all of it. The Castles of Mad King Ludwig, the Royal Collector's Edition. I actually got this with the Colossal tiles, which is by far more requested than the base game with the smaller tiles. The Colossal tiles make it so much more... you can see the art better, and you can see... you can feel and handle the tiles better. You got to basically play it on the floor, because it just takes up a lot of room, and managing that kind of space on the table it just wouldn't be fun. And maybe you could do it with a 2-player game, but this plays up to 5. 5? I really should look at this before I get it out. Yeah, it plays up to 5. And we have gotten this to the table so many times, or to the floor so many times. The production quality on this is fantastic. It's a tile laying, I price you choose type game. So one person is a master builder, and they put these tiles here down. Let me get that a little closer. These tiles that represent the rooms of a castle. And you're building this castle out, and the way you connect rooms together affects what you score. So one room might have a scoring condition that, like, say it's a bedroom, and you get points for placing that room down, but you also get points for what it connects to. Say it wants to connect to an outdoors tile. If you put an outdoors tile on that, you get to score that scoring condition of that tile, and the outdoors tile will have a scoring condition. And it's a very interesting puzzle of trying to optimize the tiles that you lay down. There are also other scoring conditions that when you complete rooms, it gives you a bonus. And each type of room, there are different types. There's bedrooms, there's living rooms, there's kitchens, there's cellars, there's all these different types of rooms, and each of them have their own completion bonus. So you've got to take those into account, and it's a lot of fun. My family loves this game. It's very easy to suggest, and it's very readily accepted. It's a great family game. If you don't have to get the big Royal expansion, it's expensive. You can get the less expensive version, and you'd have just as much fun. Maybe the tiles wouldn't be as big. You'd have just as much fun. So, The Castles of Mad King Ludwig is my number 5 game of 2023. Oh, I got to keep making room because I've got 4 more. Wait, did I say 5? Yeah, okay. Yeah, that was the number 5. Okay, number 4 is a game I've only played twice, but both times I loved it. It is so much fun. That is The Lost Ruins of Arnak. The Lost Ruins of Arnak it's got so much decision space in this game. I think it's a good family game, but it's probably more on the advanced side of family games. I do not think this is a light game, because there's so much going on. It's not necessarily that it's hard, it's that there's so much going on. The premise is you're these explorers, and it's worker placement, where you place your workers and you get certain resources, and you with enough, and there's 2 main currencies specifically, and that's compasses and gold. With compasses and gold, you can buy different artifacts or equipment that one, act for points, but also are cards that you can play out of your hand. And you build up points by climbing these different research tracks and battling bosses. Battling bosses requires the same resources. You've got arrowheads and gems and tablets and compasses and gold and all these different things. And in order to get to them, you have to play cards that enable you to travel. And it's a balancing act that I just fell in love with the first time I played it. And I played it online for the first time, and I got it, and I played it on the table for the first time. It was a lot of fun. I can't wait to play it again. Lost Ruins of Arnak. It would probably be higher even than number 4 if I've played it more. But with only 2 plays, the fact that it's my number 2 game really says something. It's a fantastic game. Lost Ruins of Arnak at number 4. Number 3 is another really big game. And I got this wondering if I was just falling victim to the hype. This game has been around for 20 years. 20, maybe? It's been around for a long time. And it's rated very highly. And I don't know if I've made a big enough point about this or not in my videos, but I'm not big on dice games. I don't like having to trust my enjoyment to the roll of a die. That being said, I liked Creature Comforts, which involves the roll of a die. You're drafting die and placing them like you would workers. The Castles of Burgundy takes it to a different level. There's so many scoring conditions. It's a point salad where you're placing tiles, these hexagonal tiles on your duchy board, and you're filling out this pattern of let's see if I can turn it around. This pattern of colors, and these colors represent different types of tiles that you can lay down. Some tiles actually accentuate how you gain points. Some of them give you resources. Some of them give you actions and all these different things. And it turned out to be just a really good game. I've played it a few more times than I have Lost Ruins of Arnak. It maybe is just a little bit harder to get to the table, in my opinion, than Lost Ruins of Arnak and Castles of Mad King Ludwig, but it is so worth it. This is a great game. It's something that you can burn your brain on and enjoy it and think about how you can optimize. And it, in my opinion, in order to enjoy it just a little bit more from where I'm at, I think I need to study some of the tiles a little bit better and see what they do, and so I can undo it. And there is a little bit of an iconography issue, because you look at it and there's a cheat sheet on some of these tiles to tell you what they do, but even then, it's like when you see it, it's like you can't constantly look back and forth between the cheat sheet and the icons to see what's going on. So on that, I'd say that is a little bit of an issue with me, but it's not going to stop me from playing the game again. It's not unplayable. It's a very playable game. You just have to play it often enough such that some of that unfamiliarity goes away. But the Castles of Burgundy is so worth it. And I'm glad I got it. I'm glad that I didn't shy away from it when it came on crowdfunding. I kind of wish I would have gotten the acrylic tiles for this. I don't know if I'd necessarily care about the 3D tiles, but the acrylic tiles, I could see how that would add durability to the game. So it's coming back to crowdfunding in 2024 because it sold so well and there was so much demand for the acrylic tiles again. So I think I'm going to try and get the acrylic tiles when the campaign starts in, I'd say, I'm guessing it's about 3 or 4, maybe 5 months from now. So anyway, keep on the lookout for that on GameFound. the Castles of Burgundy. I'm gonna put it back down here because there's no room over there. Okay, number 2. My number 2 game of 2023. Castles of Burgundy was number 3. Number 2 is a game that I can't say I passed on this on crowdfunding because I don't know if I really knew about it. It was on GameFound when GameFound was still just kind of coming into its own. And I heard hype about it and I heard interest about it. So I watched a video and saw how it was played. I'm going, okay, that looks interesting. And it is Mythic Mischief. I got this version of Mythic Mischief. This is the Headmaster's Edition. It was only sold during the first campaign and will not be sold again. I got this because somebody else was selling it, and it was in great shape. It was at a great price, and I said, all right, I'm not going to be able to get this in any other way. So I got this, and I played it a couple of times at home, and it didn't necessarily go over that well. It was kind of dry, and it's because it's an abstract game. It's the best thing I can compare to is chess, and that's an easy comparison people make sometimes. They make it too often, but it is very chess-like. You are thinking and calculating what move will optimize your turn, and I did a 2-player Tuesday on this, so I'm not going to go into it too much. But when the newer campaign came out with expansion factions for Mythic Mischief, they also released an app, and it was in beta, and during the campaign you could play it for free. And I played it in a tournament, and I just fell in love with it. It is so fun. It's a brain burner. It's validating. It's soul crushing. It's a great game, and it's got a ton of replayability. If you want to try it and you're not willing to pay the price tag to get the base game, you can get the app for, I think right now you might be able to get it for $10. Once the new factions come out, I think they're going to raise it to $15. But this is one of my favorite games. It's so much fun. It's a 2-player game. You can play it with more than 2 players, but I've never done it that way. It's a 2-player game at heart, and I just don't know if it would be the same game with more than 2. So, Mythic Mischief, fully recommend. Number 2 game of all time in 2023 for me. Okay, there is room over here for that game. My number 1 game of 2023. I've played this game a lot. Online, in person. I've turned other people onto it. My son has the collection. His in-laws have the collection. They've spread the word to other people. I've spread the word to other people. It is just a fantastic game. I love this game. Obsession. It plays so well at 2. It plays really good at 3. At 4, it's pushing it. I wouldn't play it at 5 and 6, personally. It just... The more players you get, the less agency you have. But to sum up what Obsession is, it's a worker placement, tableau building, hand management, hand building game in which you're this family and you take these servants and you have these tiles that you can host activities for, and they require servants and they require guests, and the guests are the cards in your hand, and they sometimes require servants, and it's a management puzzle that I've played it so many times, and it's just not getting old. And my son got the whole collection just like I did. He's moved on to the upstairs downstairs expansion. I haven't, because I'm still enjoying it as is. Once I get bored of it, and I'll admit I played it online a lot, and I kind of got burnt out on it for a while. So I was thinking maybe I need to go on to the expansion, see if that freshens it up for me. But just talking about it right now makes me want to play it again as is. I really need to do a review on this, a dedicated game for this. This is not a light game. I would definitely put it in that medium category, medium weight category. Most of these are medium weight categories. I wouldn't put any of them as heavy games. Even the Creature Comforts, I would probably say that's probably on the medium side of light. Splendor, not so much. I'd say it's a entry level, easy level game, but it again, easy but deep in strategy. But this is about Obsession. Obsession is my number one game of 2023 because it has so much playability. There is a little bit of a luck factor in there, luck of the draw, that you've got to deal with. But again, that's kind of the part of the puzzle too. You deal with it and say, all right, this is the hand I'm dealt. How do I maximize it? And you don't necessarily, you could say, well, you only win this way. No, you don't. You can win a bunch of different ways in Obsession, and the theme is great, the mechanics are great, it's just a great thing. And let me put a plug in right now for the designer and the publisher. Dan Halligan is one of the hidden gems in board game publishing. He's a great individual. He's got a heart of gold, and he is quite literally, quote, he is doing this because that is how he has fun. He's not he could jack this up another $25 and it would still sell. The best place to get it, I should say, you're not going to find it on Amazon. The best place is Kayenta Games' website, and he's got a Shopify site in which you can get this. And he takes a personal interest on whether you enjoy his game. He gives you a guide. I got everything when I got this game, and he gave me a guide. Look, I noticed you got everything. Here's my suggestion to help you enjoy your game to its fullest potential. And I followed it. Not only did it help me enjoy this game to its fullest potential, it helped me enjoy other games to its fullest potential. That's the kind of guy Dan Halligan is. Great game, great man that designed it, great company, impeccable customer service. Obsession deserves my number one game on multiple levels. And that's why it is my number one game. That is my gold tier, my gold level tier of games for 2023 in my collection. I look forward to adding some of these games to it and maybe seeing them rise up the level. I've got a bunch of games that I haven't played right behind me, and I need to get them to the table so I can decide where they stand on my list and enjoy them for the whole purpose I got them. So thank you for watching today. If you see any games that I mentioned today that you have particular interest in or questions about, please hit me up in the comments below. I'd love to interact with you in that way and maybe get some discussion going on these games. If you see any games behind me that you'd like to see on this list next year, please mention them in the comments, and we'll see if we can put priority on those games to get them played. Well, as I usually say, it's awkward to say goodbye.